people don't think about their water heater until they don't have hot water. And when that happens, the first question is usually, what should I replace it with? But the problem is most homeowners don't actually know what their options are. So my goal in today's episode is to talk about what your options are. So when we go into people's homes, they usually say, I think I just need another one of these. And they point to whatever is already there. But in reality, there are multiple types of water heaters and they all work very differently. Some are very simple, some are more efficient, some depend on what your home already has. So in this video, I'm going to break down the different types of water heaters, what they actually mean in real life terms, and how to think about what's right for your home. My goal is to keep it simple, no technical overwhelm, just simple explanations. That's the goal at least. So this is something we see every single day. We go into homes and the biggest issue is not the equipment. It's that people are making decisions about what to buy without understanding what they're actually buying. So let's hopefully simplify that today. So the first type is atmospheric, an atmospheric water heater. This is the most traditional type. And this is how it works. At the bottom of the tank, there's a burner that heats up your water. As that burner runs, it creates hot exhaust gases. Hot air naturally rises. So instead of using a fan, this system relies on that natural upward movement to push those gases up to a vent pipe that goes out your chimney. That is why this is called atmospheric. It's using the natural air around it and natural airflow to exhaust. Because it's simple, there are fewer moving parts, but that also means it depends on proper airflow, it depends on having a chimney, and it's not as controlled or efficient as some of the newer systems are. If your house has a chimney and it's an older tank, this is probably what you have. Now, this is simple, it's reliable, but it's more old school and it's less efficient than the new technology we have today. Number 2, a direct vent water heater. So a direct vent water heater is more controlled. Instead of pulling air from inside your home, it pulls air from outside and sends exhaust back outside through a sealed system. So essentially, you've got one pipe bringing fresh air in, one pipe sending exhaust out, and now you're not using the air inside your home. So this system is less affected by drafts or airflow issues. It is safer in tighter or more sealed spaces because it's self-contained. And you can really think of it as a closed loop system. Everything it needs comes from the outside, and everything it produces goes right back outside. This is usually where we start upgrading from the older style systems. So in summary, it's more controlled, it's safer, and it's more flexible than atmospheric. Number 3 is a power vent. A power vent water heater takes things one step further. Instead of relying on natural airflow, it actually uses a fan or a motor to actively push exhaust gases out. So that means you're no longer dependent on hot air rising, a chimney draft. The system is literally in control of the venting. And that's important because now you can vent horizontally through a wall. You're not limited by chimney placement, and venting is far more consistent and reliable. But the trade-off is you've added a newer mechanical component. So now it needs electricity. There's a motor that can wear out over time. But this is one of the systems we use often in homes that don't have chimneys anymore. So in summary, this is a more flexible and controlled system, but it's also slightly more complex because of the added movement and technology. Number 4 is an indirect water heater. So an indirect water heater works completely differently. It doesn't generate heat itself. Instead, it uses your boiler as the heat source. So inside the tank, there's a coil, and hot water from your boiler runs through that coil and then transfers the heat into the water that's in the tank. So technically, your boiler is working double duty. It's heating your home and heating your water. It works really well because boilers are very powerful and very efficient. So this setup can heat water very quickly, it can maintain temperature very well, and it lasts longer than traditional tanks. If you already have a boiler, this can be one of the best setups. In summary, it's highly efficient. but it only really makes sense if you have an existing boiler system. That way you don't have to add anything else. All right, number 5 is the one a lot of people are talking about. That is the tankless water heater. So a tankless water heater doesn't store water at all. Instead, it heats water instantly and it flows directly through the unit. So when you turn on hot water, cold water enters the unit and a very powerful heating element heats it immediately. Hot water comes out on demand. And people like it because no tank means they're not running out of hot water within capacity, higher efficiency, since you're not constantly heating stored water. But here's the reality. It's not unlimited in the way people think. So it depends on how many fixtures are running at once, the size of the unit, and your home's gas or electrical capacity. This is where people think it solves everything, but really it depends on the setup. Tankless is great, but it's not necessarily the solution that everybody thinks it is. It's very efficient, it's very compact, but it needs to be sized and installed correctly. Number 6, a combi system combines 2 things into one unit. So it combines your home heating and your hot water. So this is how it works. It acts like a boiler for your heating system and a tankless system for your hot water, all in one. It saves space, it can be very efficient, but this also means that one system is handling everything. And again, it needs to be sized correctly for both demands. So this is the all-in-one option, but it is not the one-size-fits-all option. And I think that's very important to understand. It's very efficient, it's very compact, but it requires proper planning. This is something you have to really, really understand when you're getting it installed. The biggest mistake people make is choosing based on what they already had. They say, let's just do what we already had instead of what actually fits their home. Every system has a purpose and every home has different needs. So if you're trying to figure out what makes the most sense for your setup, it's worth getting a professional opinion before making a decision. We offer free estimates and can walk you through your options so you're not guessing.